Hi guys, this is Cobra Tom, and I'm here to do a full review on Gru from Despicable Me 3. And here's the box with the minions, and on the back it's got the other characters you can get, and you can see that there. So this is our first one, not our first Despicable Me toy, but the first of Despicable Me 3 action figures. Or, technically, I don't think they're actually considered action figures. It says on the box that they're collectibles. Collectible figurines. So, anyway, Gru here, if you've ever seen the movies, Gru in the first movie is technically a bad guy. And he adopts 3 girls, and throughout an adventure, the girls meet his minions, which he's got like a whole army of them, and I've got some here. And here we go with a bunch of his minions that we got here. This is actually from the movie Minions, which is, well, I don't personally think it's as good as Despicable Me, but, you know, it is what it is. So, he's got the following, well, features, as it were. His arm goes all the way around, up and down, you know, and it's okay. I mean, it's not super great, but it's okay. You know, it works for what it is. It's a collectible figurine. His head turns, you know, could probably turn it all the way around so all you see is his bald head. And his legs move. So you guys suppose could make it look like he's doing a pose or, you know, things like that. And being nice to his little minions. So, the beginning of the movie, he's the villain, and these minion guys here kind of all do his bidding here, and he's kind of a mean guy, and he kind of orders these guys around and tells them, you know, what to do, and they just kind of do it because they're the minions. And thanks to the minions here, like these guys here, without these guys, I do not think Despicable Me would have been as funny without them. And he adopts these girls, not to give anything away. If you haven't seen the movie, he adopts these girls to try to break into somebody's fortress and steal a device. And throughout the movie, he becomes a good guy and stuff. I don't think I'm giving too much away because there's 3 other ones. So, but he would have first been he'd have been a villain, and I kind of compare him, this is kind of a bad comparison, but he would have been kind of like Cobra Commander. And the Cobra Commander here had Cobra minions. He had Cobra, oops, that's Joe. Cobra guys who you know, done bad things and tried to take over the world. But now he's more like, well, he's now more like G.I. Joe, being a good guy. He's not, he's probably in the 1/18th scale, because if you put him next to a Joe, my Joes are even on a stand, but if you put him next to a G.I. Joe, well, even without the stand, the Joe, you know, is a, oops. As you can see, I don't edit these videos, but back to back and such. Yeah, you can see that the Joe is a lot bigger. But I still think that if you wanted to play with him with other action figures, if you're kind of like us, who has a variety of other stuff, Minions, Cobras, G.I. Joes, Star Wars guys even, he actually has similar articulation to the vintage G.I. Joes, or to the vintage Star Wars guy. This isn't technically a vintage Star Wars guy, but he can move his head, move his arms. He can't move his arms to the side like he does, but his legs go up and down, and his don't. His twists. So I think of him more like, well, kind of like this, where he's posable. You can kind of put him into other things, and he looks, I mean, he looks cool. He's got his trademark scarf, his big jacket, and his really skinny legs. I mean, like, really skinny legs, which kind of is wobbly on his own feet. But, you know, he's kind of roughly this, well, these are a little bit bigger, or he's a little bit bigger than these, but these are Fisher-Price Pirates and Knights, and they're about that size. He's a little bit taller, but they're a little bit wider, so kind of, you know, they're kind of comparable to the same size here. And but Gru is much more like, actually, this, the Dragon Ball Frieza figurine. He isn't an action figure. He has no features. This Gru is much better than this, but he just kind of stands there. He's not, you know, not going to be able to get him into a car. Not going to be able to get him into, you know, any kind of vehicles, unless it's a perfectly stationary. I don't have any of the vehicles yet. This is my first one for Despicable Me. I assume what you would do is if you had his big metal car, you would just plop him in there. I don't mean to discourage anyone from getting these, and in fact, I am actually in favor of these toys. I do like them. And he's got his nice beak nose where he can, you know, kind of look down at his minions. Kind of like at the end of the movie. He's kind of looking down at him. So, I don't mean to discourage anyone from getting them, because I actually do like this guy. And I do have a place for him. He is, okay, he's part of that anti-villain league. But I do think that you could probably put him with Joe's. And, you know, if he had a vehicle, he could probably stand in the vehicle and be, you know, pretty good. So here I've got my Armadillo, G.I. Joe. And what I was thinking was he might be a little small. And he doesn't fit in there real well. But I was thinking you could put him in something like this. Maybe something a hair wider so his arms go down. But he could make, you know, for me, I think a pretty nice driver for a G.I. Joe or even a Star Wars accessory. Well, he's apparently not fitting, but Luke here. And see, he doesn't quite fit, and he doesn't quite, because his arms are kind of articulated differently. But, you know, I think for what I would use him for, I think he looks actually really pretty cool in this. And you can always pretend that the, you know, minions are gonna, even though they don't have any foot pegs, that one's not a good example, but you know, you could maybe put him here. So I don't know. I don't know how you would play with him. I wouldn't play with him as the movie adventure per se. I wouldn't have him, you know, fighting Balthazar Brat or any maybe of the other ones. But I do think that if you really like the movies, these are really nice. They're hard. They're big. You're not going to have your kids put them in your mouth and choke or anything like that. The legs and everything, even though are very thin, they seem extremely sturdy. So I don't think you'd have any breakage problems. I would maybe not bend the arm any further back than you know, this, because you could probably break the, there's kind of I don't know what that joint there, and it goes up and down. So I think it's a really nice toy, and I thank you for watching, and we will have another upcoming video, and very soon I'm going to be opening a Patreon account, and I will be doing some giveaway offers, and I will kind of give you more information when that time comes. Thank you for watching. See you later.